Hello there, YouTube. This is the Rogue Gem Player here, and I'm coming at you with a Dark Lair profile, which is a budget kind of ish variant. It does play a few cards outside of the structure deck, but for the most part, if you pick up three, you can pretty much build the deck. It's a fun deck. Really not as consistent as like the dinosaur structure deck or the counter fairy one, but it does have some really good plays that really work. So to start off, we're playing 3 copies of the Darkest Diablos Lord of the Lair. So this card's really broken, in my opinion. It can't be kaiju'd, it can't be tributed, and it can't be targeted, which is really cool because it's a 3,000 beater that if a dark monster you control is tributed, except during the damage step, you can summon it. You can special summon it from your graveyard or from your hand, which is really cool because the way the deck works, you tribute dark monsters to either activate effects or whatnot. And then his other effect is that you can tribute a dark monster and your opponent selects one card in their hand and either places it on the top or bottom of the deck. So it's good. Pretty broken. And then we're playing 3 copies of Lady of Lament, Lilith. Basically, you tribute a dark monster to reveal 3 normal traps. So like Trap Hole, Torrential, and stuff like that. And one of them gets randomly added to your hand by your opponent. Your opponent does not know which one you are adding. And the good thing is that you can reveal things like Dimensional Barrier, Torrential, Bottomless, any of the viruses. And the cool thing is that it gets around Ash Blossom because it doesn't add it to your hand first. So, and it's a 2K beater if you summon it off like a tour guide or something. Otherwise, it's 1,000 when it comes out. So, and combined with the field spell, you can spot removal things all the time. The one tour guide, just because it gets the Lilith out of the deck, which allows you to use it for like deck devastation or just a monster. Because while tour guide negates the monster effect, you could still activate the effect to pay cost for Lilith's effect. So with the field spell, you can once per turn, quote unquote, get rid of one of your opponent's cards, which is cool. So 3 copies of Arima, the Wicked Warden, because first of all, he's a commandant, Gravekeeper's Commandant. If you discard it, you can get the field spell in the deck, a Lair of Darkness. You can tribute a dark to either draw a card if you tribute himself, or if you tribute any other dark, you can also add 1 dark monster with 2,000 or more defense from your deck to your hand. And to my understanding, if you tribute, and this only works if you tribute one of your own cards other than him, but if you add Diablos off of that effect, it behaves similar to Astrograph Sorcerer, so you can immediately summon it right after. Because Diablos checks the field if a card was tributed after it's been added, so you can special Diablos. So it's really cool. So 3 him, 2 copies of Duke Shade, because it's a kaiju and it's a card that just, if you have any other monster in the field, it can get a Diablos back on the board. It is a target for full force because he has 2k defense. So, but with the field spell, he's a kaiju because you can tribute any number of dark monsters. So, which is cool. 2 copies of Summoner Monk. So the theory is with this card is that if you have this in any spell, you have automatic instant access to Diablos, because you're gonna use this, ditch a spell. Usually it's like a duplicate copy of Lair or something, and get Arima, and then use Arima's effect to tribute the Summoner Monk, which then adds the Diablos to hand, and then immediately summons it because you tributed a monster. So, plus you can do rank 4 plays if you wish to. 2 Absolute King Backjack. It's a card you can just set, and you can rearrange the top 3 cards of your deck when it gets sent, and then if you wish to, you can use it, the other effect to reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's a normal trap, or if it's a normal trap, you can immediately set it, and then you can activate it that turn if you'd wish. So, for spells, 3 copies of Lair of Darkness. So, for those of you who don't know what this card does, basically once all monsters on the field become dark, so it's like a zombie world for attributes in this case. In addition, once per turn, if you would tribute a monster to activate a card effect, you contribute one dark monster your opponent controls instead, even though you do not control it. Keep in mind that if Masterpiece is protected by spells, this does not work because it behaves similar to like Soul Exchange and stuff like that. So, where Lair of Darkness, quote unquote, activates in order to apply the effect. In addition, during the end phase, you have to special summon tokens that are level 3 with 1,000 attack, 1,000 defense as possible up to the number of tributed as many as possible, depending on the turn player's field. So if you tributed 1 on your turn, you get 1 token. If you tribute 1 on your opponent's turn, they get a token. So it helps to get rid of keep your opponent from having tokens during any part of their turn outside of the end phase, so you can use the tokens in place of your own. So then we play the 2 terraforming to search it. 3 copies of Allure Darkness. So the one problem with this card I have is that because you don't really want to banish anything, but you need draw power, and there's not a whole lot of things you can do outside of like consistency wise. 1 Recurring Nightmare because it is a salvage for monsters with 0 defense. Foolish Burial. Monster Gate, this triggers Diablos. Monster Reborn. That's all the spells. So, for traps, probably the best virus card right now is Full Force because almost everything, a lot of good chunk of cards can be hit by this. Unfortunately, none of the Ash Blossom, Ghost Ogre, or Cherries, I believe, cannot be hit by this because their defense point is too high. But you can hit basically anything else. For True Draco, Maiden, and Ignis don't have 1,500 and 1,000 respectively, so it does kill them. So, it's the best virus right now. Eradicator, there's a reason why this card is at 1. You tribute a monster with 2,500 or more attack, declare spells or traps, and kill them all. This card is really good. There's a reason why this card is at 1. 1 Deck Devastation Virus. If you tour guide out into Lilith, Lilith is a target for it. So, and then 3 copies of Mind Crush. Basically, if you activate a virus, you activate a Mind Crush almost immediately because you're looking in your opponent's hand, so you always have access to what is in their hand all the time, just because you have so much information. And it's searchable by Lilith. 2 Torrential, same thing, searchable. The 1 Jar of Avarice, I always like playing this in a lot of decks just because it's a random draw, recycles, and it's also searchable. And then the 1 Solemn Warning, because why not? So, there is no extra deck for this, but I do place recommendations that if you want, you should be playing like rank 3s, rank 4s, maybe rank 8s for the Diablos, but the cool thing is that because of the field spell, if the monster has 2,500 more attack or 2,000 defense or more, you can use them for the viruses if the field spell's on the board. So, I hope you like the deck. Let me know what you think about it, and I'll get back to you guys later. Bye.